Otherwise, it's like, yeah, come on, don't change that. Reach out. But those solar systems should be keep them going all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Amy thinks that she's got brain damage. That was what she said after I saw her at the post office. She was going to have an MRI. And I said, where? My head. So, one of the things that she's had brain damage overnight.
Yeah, the person that was one as a policy.
Maybe she can't function.
Oh, wow. Wow.
There is a truck here. Oh, on the other side. Sorry, it's on the wrong side of the truck. Yeah.
Because they make the list, it's great. The lady's supposed to be getting conviction on the whole bill. She flagged the time, she flagged, she told the wrong. It's obvious. So then, if that's the case, they're saying, well, because we're waiting for a eviction, then hey, we got that. All right. You can just.
They're walking. Oh, yeah. You didn't put that.
What?
No, it couldn't get.
Yeah, I hit the button. I thought she was going to call it to order. This thing, I'm afraid it won't start recording again. He can take it off. He just can't add it. So I'll tell him to cut off the first minute or whatever. Besides, there's nothing wrong with stretching anyway. It's not like it's illegal.
That's hard.
Okay, council, it's a little bit past the start date of 6:45, but Joy and Brian are walking and on their way, so I told them I'd wait for them to get here. Council, you can look at the picture, the diagram that she's got.
It's on the back side of the.
Yeah.
Fence Variance. It's on the back. Yes.
But anyway, don't ever be like me if I touch something the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
Was council provided with the information that says they can only grant a variance under certain circumstances? No?
What circumstances, Denise?
It's in the code. There are 4 or 5 circumstances, and they have to meet several of them in order before they can grant a variance. So you didn't give them that part of the information?
I don't think that, council got that. They got the, request. They can deny it until further information.
Well, why aren't they provided with this information?
Don't know, Henry?
They have all the ordinances.
Yeah.
The code has a variance paragraph that tells what the criteria are. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Well, if everybody has their phone, they can look it up on their phone.
Okay. Council, I would like to, or public, I guess, this part is a public hearing. Call the meeting to order at 6:50. And Mr. and Mrs. Moorhead has a request for a variance. The council has your drawing. Size of structure, it's part of residential. Size of structure is a 4-foot, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? 4-foot chain link fence for the front yard of the 110 West 5th Street. That is the littlest house across the street from the middle school. Mrs. Moorhead, would you like to explain your drawing?
Sure. I was informed that the town code says that if you're on a corner lot, that your front yard fence can't be higher than 3.5 feet.
So,
And what's currently in the front yard is a 6-foot wooden fence that you can't see through at all. And we're trying to put in a chain link fence to replace the wooden fence. We take down the wooden fence and put a chain link fence in. So you're going to be able to see through. Right. And we're only asking for 4 feet, which is 6-inch difference between 3.5 and 4 feet. Why are we asking for 4 feet? Because our dog was attacked by another animal on our property. We currently have an electric fence that goes around, and our dog has colic. So she never goes off our property. But a dog came onto our property while we were gone and almost took her back leg off and a $400 bet, you know. And I'm concerned for children walking to school. If there's a dog running around, there's a big dog, fangs were this far apart. So some sort of big dog anyway. So we figure if we do a 4-foot chain link fence, and in the front, I'm going to do some raised bed gardens to deter any animal from climbing up chain link and jumping over into it. But that will, number one, you'll be able to see better than what you could now with the 6-foot wooden fence. You can't see anything.
Right.
Right. So that's what we're asking for, 4 feet all the way around, but the only part that we've come into question about, and on my drawing I've written, shown where the variance actually starts, that corner of the house. And so that's where the town code says 3.5 feet. Now, my husband had worked for the Department of Transportation for many, many years, and he's very familiar with the reason for these codes. And so he is happy to discuss that if you have questions about why those codes exist at all, and how our request really is going to be going against that code in its intent. Question? You're okay with it?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The bushes I haven't driven up there lately. Are they still there, or are they gone, or are
The
they yours?
bushes, there's just a few scraggly bushes that are kind of at the end of the wooden fence as it goes around the corner facing the school. And that, I guess, has served as a natural boundary there, because everybody parks there from the school. So we haven't taken those down for that reason.
Or maybe not.
And, you know, I'm not even exactly sure
I think
if those bushes are part of ours or part of the school's. Not even exactly sure. They're ours?
I think
Are they?
Kendall put them in.
Did he? Okay. So if that's true, then, you know, we would trim them up and, you know, because we're gonna ask to put the fence, I think, right in front of them. And then that same typical line. And I think having them there also is a deterrent for animals still climbing up and over the tree. Because I know that's what we do with the chain link. Yeah.
Okay, we can check with the school to make sure.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. It looks good to me. I don't know.
Nothing else I need to let the narrow fence guy show up on Friday.
Right on.
Make it great news.
Good.
Woo! Pretty much any change would be an improvement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an improvement for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we need to wait for any sort of written approval or anything like that?
We can't do anything right now.
You have to take those later
Yeah.
and do all that kind of stuff. So as far as us talking to our fence guy, when can we expect to hear later?
You'll know by the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Somebody could get a hold of you tonight or tomorrow if you wanted to go down.
Okay, I could always check with you tomorrow too. Okay, thank you.
Okay, while you're standing, I have a question on this heritage garden
Yeah,
and gate. Is that like a
the Adams County,
gate goes to your sidewalk?
so the gate there is a not natural, there was a pre-existing driveway there that goes straight toward a wooden fence. And we would like to keep that driveway accessible so that we could put a vehicle in there to do painting and all that stuff. So that gate is actually gonna be a bifold gate, okay? And the Heritage Garden, are you familiar with what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you have any other questions on that?
Thank you.
I have a question,
Yeah.
not for you actually. So the people right across the street from me put up a 4-foot chain link fence and I don't recall them having to ask for a variance. So why does Joy have to ask for a variance? I think, Paula, didn't you just approve theirs?
What was the guidelines?
Durfee, right across the street from me, got a chain link fence put up, 4 foot.
Across the street.
In Ron Combs' old house.
Oh,
I don't recall that being brought to council at all, so what's the difference? How come Joy has to? If Durfee's didn't have to.
all right, thank you. All right, so
Paula just approved it, Mrs. Durfee said. Right in front of my house. 4 foot. And she told me that Paula approved it. She didn't have to go through any of this.
okay, so the public hearing is adjourned at this moment, and we will call the regular meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, council, you see that Mr. Dorshak is not here, so we need to approve his absence for medical reasons. Okay, Myra.
We say,
Okay, thank you, we're being excused there. All right, council, you've got the, August 22nd, regular meeting minutes. Your packet. So. No, you've got, you want special first? Okay. You guys choose.
I make a motion that we accept the special meeting minutes from August 22nd, 2023.
Second.
Okay, the special meeting minutes. Been moved and seconded to approve special meeting minutes of August 22nd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now you got regular meeting minutes for the same August 22nd.
I make a motion that we accept the regular minutes for August 2022, 2023, excuse me, August 22nd for 2023.
Okay. I heard a motion and a second to approve regular meeting minutes August 22nd, 2023. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. On the agenda, the unfinished business, we've got 3 ordinances that have been drafted for council's opinion and feedback on making simpler steps to already existing ordinances. We're not replacing anything. Before passing it through your thought process, before sending to the attorney for evaluation. So I would like to have some discussions of what we've had these so that you are well versed in the pages. The first draft is an ordinance providing for an administrative enforcement program for enforcement of the Town of Lynn Municipal Code. The Town Council of the Town of Lynn finds that enforcement of the Lynn Municipal Code and applicable state codes is an important public activity. Code enforcement is vital to the protection of the public health, safety, welfare, and quality of life. Town Council recognizes that code enforcement is effective only when done quickly and fairly. The Town Council finds that an enforcement system that allows a combination of judicial and administrative remedies is effective in correcting violations. This chapter establishes an additional remedy that may be used by the town to achieve compliance with applicable codes. And so I would like to open for discussion. Feel free. Like I said, you've had these for several meetings.
okay, I think, ordinances, all these ordinances, and talking about it, action. How long now? 2 years? Since Henry's been involved. And there's always one excuse of another why we cannot act.
And this is hoping to remedy that.
So I know I bring this up, I like this for the record. 305 I've got 3 fires out there that, had I not been there with an extinguisher, we got area control. Henry's done a report. We're holding off for the simple reason is the owner said she'd given a picture.
Okay, that's not a town issue.
That's all to do with
Yeah, that's between, landlord and tenant or whatever. That eviction, if there is one, has got nothing to do with, town stuff.
But what I'm trying to say is because she did eviction, she told the guy she did eviction, we haven't acted on it.
I haven't been told.
Have you acted on it, Henry?
We went as far as the resolution, and then it was held up by the attorney.
Yeah,
So we can issue liens or whatever on the property?
that's what this, yeah, we're trying to
Well,
get
the attorney didn't like the resolution method. So this is the lien method. 3 letters, we can do if the council wants it. Start with number 1, number 2, then the lien, notice to abate, same as what was done last year, but we're going with the lien, not the resolution. We can do that. That's what the attorney says they think would be a better way to do it.
That's what I'm trying to
Well,
understand.
so
How all this is, how it all falls into place, basically.
Right, and that's what this would do. And it's not just for that kind of a thing, it's for any kind of a thing. Anything that's wrong with, wherever you need to resolve something, that's what this, throughout the whole ordinances, all the ordinances, you can supplement this. If you don't like the method from 1945, this is the new one.
Okay, cool.
Oversees it. This is a compilation of many different towns that are already approved a different way of handling all the different situations.
Okay, thanks, Henry.
The issue I had, or the issue I perceive that the council, it could create a problem with the council and everybody else is this is, none of us are police officers in the first place here. And to me, or it just seems like this is putting, and you also, I get you're an ordinance officer, but this is the way that this has been read, and I've read it quite a few times. Don't understand it. There's parts of it I don't understand. There's a lot of it I do, but to me, it's almost like we're trying to empower ourselves to be something we're not, as far as when it comes down to pushing this.
When it
Does that make any sense to
when
you,
it
the
comes down
way
to
I'm
push
trying
and
to say
shove,
it?
when it comes down to push and shove, it goes to the court.
So the town's just gonna be,
This is, we just do all this, you would say,
Throwing all
yes,
this
let's
money
do
out
it,
there
and
to-
then Bristol just did theirs last 5 of them at their last meeting on the nuisance, and it's to the attorney, and then the attorney's gonna do they did the resolution, theirs approved the resolution method. They're a town attorney, and they're doing it that way, and they're going, 5 out of the 6 that were presented were sent to resolution, which means it goes to the attorney, and then the attorney takes over, just like here. Once it gets to a lien, then it's the attorney and the homeowner.
council,
this just to me,
you'll see that the LMC, Land Municipal Code, those are your ordinance numbers, that these are already, it's already there. This just kind of simplifies, consolidates what all of those ordinances are already saying. It's just in simple steps. And I think that's what the attorney said, that the way that it stands now, it's kind of messy. There's some extra loopholes in there, is the way he said that was, so this tightens up and helps progress through the process. So, if you guys still discussing, want something different, you'll see on page 6, property violation notice. And then the little steps that would be 1, 2, 3. If I'm not following down the line, then you just take me to step 1, step 2, step 3, and move on. Notice to abate my unsafe or unlawful condition, and then it's just filled in to the form there. Failure by, I'll just kind of throw this out. Failure by the owner or responsible party to either appeal. I can always appeal my case to you guys. You know, if you say that I'm going to be in violation of cleaning up my yard, whatever. After you give me my notice, then I've got it for 14 days to do my appeal within that time, but that's already in the ordinances. It just puts it all in one spot here. Failure to correct, inspections, authority to abate, clean up, procedures to clean up, to abate. But all of this, these pages here, pertains to all of those nuisance subjects that's already there in your ordinances. We're not doing anything new, it's just.
Right, this isn't just, correct me if I'm wrong, Paula, but this isn't just directed at the housing cleanup and stuff like that in this town. This is going further than that. I see the writing on
Okay, but
the
these,
direction that's going.
okay,
It can be
These-
noise,
yeah,
it can be noise, animals, anything. It's just not.
I know they're
cleanup.
wrong. Yeah,
but these right here are already in your books, on your books. So you're thinking that this is going to be something new? No, it's just all,
I'm saying is the way this is trying to change everything.
no, there's no change, it's just the change of
Or
the
apparently
process.
somebody thinks they're gonna become sheriff or something, I don't know. Anyways.
Anything else? Discussion? Laura?
I think it looks good.
And if this is presented, gave you your friend, presented, and there's other different suggestions that come back from the attorney, well, then we'll go back to you guys again. So anything else?
So this isn't new, this is, why, it's very difficult, why haven't we acted on the things that Henry's already, written up, so like down there on Main Street,
Okay,
Mosses and all that?
he tried to tell you, when we did what we did, those 3 places, 3 properties, yeah, it was very frustrating because of the loophole that, came back at us.
Thank you.
Can you explain what the loophole was?
That's that question.
I can't
We didn't
remember.
like she said that, the ordinance needs to be updated to today's standards.
Who said
The attorney, town attorney. I know, things have been on the case for years, and you're okay now, all of a sudden, this, our particular attorney now who's in charge is not the way it was done 10 years ago.
But the current ordinance provides for all of it.
Mhm. Yeah, there's, like I said, this is
I
nothing
mean,
new, it's just.
the current ordinance had resolution plus either way, that's the way it was set up. And I decided to use the resolution to save the money for the lien. It said it should go the other way. And now we're gonna do the other way. And that's what happened.
So, with that discussion, anybody else, maybe a motion to be able to send it?
I make a motion. Ordinance providing for administrative enforcement program for enforcement of the town code and municipal code. A second.
Okay, moved and seconded to, I guess what'd you say, to send it?
You suggested to send it to the attorney.
Send it. Oh, to go ahead and send it, okay. All in favor to sending, say aye. And any opposed?
I,
Okay, 2 and 2. Okay, so is that a tiebreaker that I have? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and say yes, just so that we have, it in there, and then maybe it'll get spit back out at us, drawing board all over again.
You would have to bring it back before the council for them to vote to accept
Yes.
at a later date.
All right, next or second draft is an ordinance for the removal of personal property and or abandoned property in the right of way or on town public property. The purpose of this ordinance is to address and remedy the problem with stored or abandoned personal property, excluding vehicles on all town property and in the town right of way, including all streets and alleys. Personal property stored in the right of way or on or on town public property causes or tends to cause substantial, and this is a new word for me, diminution in values of other property in the town or neighborhood in which such personal and or abandoned property is located. This act can annoy, injure, or endanger the comfort, repose, health, or safety of others, offends decency, or interferes, or tends to obstruct, or renders dangerous, or passage any public place, alley, street, or sidewalk in the town, or in any way renders other persons insecure in life, or in the use of public right-of-way or town public property. Okay, mainly this goes to the 1101, your 1101 ordinance.
Could you repeat that like third to last one?
Where I stumbled.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
This act can annoy, that, because there's only 3 sentences. You want me to start over?
Well, you said blah, 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 so it was kind of towards the end.
This-
It was something about,
This act can annoy, injure, or endanger. This is straight out of our ordinance, our language. This act can annoy, injure, or endanger the comfort, repose, health, or safety of others, offends decency, or interferes, or tends to obstruct, or renders dangerous for passage any public place, alley, street, or sidewalk in the town, or in any way renders other persons insecure in life, or in the use
That
of
was
public right, or in the use of public right of way or town public property.
Renders insecure.
Renders dangerous. It's dangerous passage.
Well, what was the next part then? Because I don't understand the insecure person or,
If you have something, basically, if there's something blocking the, I can read it word for word if you want, but like something on your sidewalk that can be dangerous to people walking down the sidewalk or something. Is the way I
Yeah, but then
understand what that's
okay,
saying.
I just.
it's all 1101 public nuisance defined. So it's nothing new, like I said before.
I just, for the one term, question.
Okay, any discussion you want, Henry, to explain further the AB?
I think that's pretty good. I mean, most of the alleyways are blocked up with vehicles and put that caravans anyway. Talk about changing fires, drugs, everything else.
The A, letter A, is if the owner is known. About next to the last lines. If the owner of the property in question fails to remove the property, the town shall remove the property, store the property for 60 days at a secure town of Lynn location, and then bill the owner for such removal, storage, and disposal fees. 60 days. Remember that conversation a while back? If the owner of such property is not known, it's posted. Oh, I said that right.
Play all the pieces.
Okay, with 48-hour notice. And if no claim of that ownership of the property is made after proper notification posted, the property shall be removed from the public right of way or from town public property. Shall be held by the town for a period of, again, 60 days in a secure location. If no ownership claimed after 60 days, the property shall be disposed by the town. All junk, litter, refuse, and discarded items will be disposed of and not stored. Photos will be taken so that there's a record. Okay, Henry, you're gonna have to explain B.
Okay, that, you can do a class 1 civil infraction for this, to get the town to get their money back from the storage charges and anything else. After the fact, when we're storing it. We have to store it, because if we just take it and throw it away, who's to say 30 days down the road, where's my stuff? And then they say, that was worth $20,000. This way, you have the photos, you have it stored, and then you can get your stuff and you charge it for storage charges and towing it over there, inventory charges and all that stuff, and that's what the D is, how to get your money back.
We have read that, yes. I mean, where do you store something like 3 caravans, 6 cars?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, is did the town buy some extra property somewhere? Store all this crap that didn't we apparently?
That'd take you a week to move that in that alley, that's just one alley.
I know, but baby steps. That's what we come up against, the brick wall.
Who assumes responsibility for any liability that's involved in all of this?
Woo. Is that in here at all?
No, it's just, this is what you do, and, you know, the other towns have it in theirs. We incorporated quite a few of them and figure out what parts work for us, and, They follow the RCW, and just change the wording.
Did they say if they've had any problems with this?
Well, Bristol's has a place to take and restore it. You have a fencing line. With very low, a single wide into it.
So when they don't want to pay
Right.
for the cleanup
And
and all that,
then it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
so
You can do the lien, you can do that, basically the same thing. The
you,
lien is
you
just-
meaning the attorney?
Right. Attorney. And the way it is the person that, if you found it in the street here, like right here, like here, okay? The property there is responsible for anything that's left in the street.
Even if it's on the town right away?
Right?
But it's the town's right away.
Right. But the people are responsible to keep it clear. That's the sidewalk law and everything else.
Yeah, but what if, I think I get following Jamie here, so if Joe Blow comes and drops a car off in front of my house and between my house and the
That's a
street,
car,
you tell
that's a
me
car,
I'm
that's a
liable
car,
for that.
then you call the sheriff, he has to run the VIN, and then it goes from there. This is anything but vehicles and stuff like that. If you drop a pile of cement blocks, you have to prove that those, you have to get a permit, or you have to tell the town, you know, that's skid of cement blocks here, because I'm working on my house, and you just use them up. You have to let the town know.
What if somebody else does it?
If somebody else does it, the person's supposed to say, hey, what's this stuff doing in front of my house?
But they don't know who did it in the middle of the night, so
Right, so
how does
then
the town approach that?
the town approaches that as they're disavowing any knowledge of it. The town takes care of it,
Yeah.
and you lose.
Wouldn't that be a
So
property
the
owner?
property owner has to take responsibility
Supposed to take responsibility. Yeah,
for
right.
stuff dumped in on the town's right of way, next to the road in front of the house.
And that's not changed. That's the way it is now.
Well, if it's on the town's right of way, it's the town's.
Kind of, that could, we would be the same problem.
Yeah, you
So you're
have,
gonna tell me that it's my responsibility to spray the town weed?
no, you spray what's yours. Considered to be yours. If you have sidewalks,
Weeds in most cities and towns, it's the responsibility, it's under the ordinance, it's the responsibility of the homeowner to do up to the paved right of way,
That's not in our ordinance.
not an honor.
I have no issue with spraying weed and taking care of
Yeah.
what's
Right.
mine.
A lot of these people.
Trust me, I
But
volunteer a
people
lot
say-
to go to
but we're
city
getting
property
complaints
too,
that-
I don't have to.
Why are these things saying on my property?
guys, we got too many conversations going on. Okay, so, with the, whatever it is, abandoned property, removal of personal property, abandoned property. Any more discussion?
When are we gonna write it on?
Well, that's what we're trying to do here. If we have this,
How does this ordinance affect the people that park their RVs and their boats and things in the town right away?
this is not having anything to do with vehicles at the moment. Yes, your question
You're talking
isn't
about clearing the town right away, where this will be parked.
that. Go ahead, Henry.
Town's right of way, RCW says you have to call a police officer to
I'm not complaining
say
about
it,
it. I don't
et
like
cetera,
these
but
ordinances.
since our contract with the sheriff's department, they don't handle any of our ordinance type things. So it's a gray area.
You can call the sheriff, they will give you X amount of days, because they have to run the bin, they have to make a conscious effort to find the, owner, and if the owner can't be found, then they can have the town call to tow, and then it's done. But you gotta do that, abandon whatever it is.
Okay, can I tell you what happened when the guys broke down at the corner by the school and ours? They left their rig there for weeks. We knew who it was per se, so we got hold of them in Uber called them, they refused to come back and get it. We called the sheriff, he came and ran the bin. Now, the problem we came up with is the guy on the title was not the legal owner. So they said, let it be there and let them know, so somebody in town came and took the rig. That's how one of them disappeared from basically our property and the town's right away. That's how that abandoned vehicle disappeared over there.
That happens. Okay, council, with this one, is there a motion or not, or more discussion?
Make a motion, we accept it.
Just send,
I'll say it.
okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to take the second draft as is, I guess, and send it to the attorney for their evaluation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, third draft. At the top, it says fences and clear view triangle. An ordinance becoming a supplemental, so it's additional, document to the current zoning ordinance, which includes ordinance numbers 95-2, 00-3, and 08-05, establishing for clarification of fence requirements stated in ordinances 95-2, 00-3, and 08-05. All other sections are not affected. Okay, so we're not changing anything. The use of fencing and screening by other measures reduce visual, noise, and lighting impacts on adjacent properties and provide visual separation and physical buffers between land uses. It also serves to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the community by eliminating dangerous conditions and preserving property values. The purpose of this ordinance is to establish clear view triangle requirements and fences to help maintain pedestrian and vehicular safety by prohibiting obstructions of motor vehicle operators' view at these locations. Clear view requirements apply to all zones and apply to public streets, private streets, intersecting with public streets, alleys, driveways, and curb cuts. And this right here simplifies the zoning and adds, pictures. So if we have a visual person, like Moorheads, they have their lot, okay, so then they went this way, and then they could do this way, so that's where that came into effect. Right now, the zoning is, for fences is very confusing. No pictures. No feet, no which way to go. So it consolidates the residential zones, commercial zones, setbacks on all zones, vegetation. You can't have that on your fences, or as a fence, I guess you can. Quality and standard of fences, nothing different. Fence plans, okay, so prime example, if you got a fence plan, then you can go with that. Where did I leave off that? Clear view triangle description, so then that's the description or diagrams, whether it's a residential street, stop sign, how far back through traffic, alleyway, driveway, intersections, public right-of-way. Does offer exemptions, adjustments, violations deemed nuisance, abatement required. So this falls into your ordinance 1101 as well.
So if there are existing properties that don't fall within those parameters, they're grandfathered, will we be asking people to take fences down?
If they're, well, if your fence is over the water line, yeah, that would have to be remedied. I mean, that's, well, that was 2 owners ago. Well, okay, that was a mistake.
So I'm talking like the fences on a corner or an alleyway.
It says here, building, exemptions, buildings which were existing prior to passage of the ordinance, codified in this code.
Not gorgeous.
Would verify that.
Discussion.
I have a comment, not because I have a like situation, but because of this generic. You're saying this is a safety issue. And I can tell you from a public works engineering standpoint, site triangles on roads where they allow on-street parking have nothing to do with the residential property on that corner. And the site triangle doesn't get calculated until the ends of what's allowed as legal parking, because people can't see around the parked cars that can be legally there any time of the day for as long as who knows. So you're mixing up. I applaud you trying to make safer streets, but there are so many public works exceptions like that, parking, and that's how and why cities can put newspaper stands right at the back of the curb and allow cafes, seating, and all kinds of stuff. There are exceptions to all of that, especially when it comes to site triangles. It's incumbent on the driver. I mean, I hate to say it. It doesn't matter where that stop sign is. That driver is supposed to come to a complete stop and then creep forward until he can see around parked vehicles and everything else.
And then sometimes it's too late.
Because,
Yeah.
and it all varies on the speed limit of roadway and
Right.
so to generically just say, we're doing this for safety and not know all the exceptions that your city attorney wouldn't be able to enforce if anybody even balked back. That you're just be wasting money with an attorney reviewing stuff that he can't move forward with. So.
Well, I think, don't you think, that, anything that we can do to help prevent, like, some of the stuff that I am trying to get with residents to get away from the corner, move your car away from the corner, came from the driver's ed work. So you got a stop sign and you got back 30 feet. If I can't see, well, then get rid of that bush, that tree limb. You know, it's just kind of common courtesy for the other drivers that are going to be going in the street. But yes, I totally agree that it may be a waste of money, but at the same time, it's a starting point, don't you think?
No.
No?
One of the greatest old sayings is good fences make good neighbors. And you start messing with people's beautiful landscaping, it may be ugly to you or anybody else, but it might be their favorite bush with grandma planted under it. Who knows? And you're talking arbitrarily now saying it's a safety hazard when you can't enforce it. And and you're allowing on-street parking in the same corner,
True.
it's two different messages, and it frustrates people to an extreme, especially people like me who know where the basis of all those rules come from. And I try to advise public works directors and city engineers for 30+ years on this kind of stuff, keeping roads safe. It's important to me too, you bet. But, yeah, it's just, I've had my piece, so watch what you're getting into, because, yeah, it's kind of like it.
Well, see, the thing is, this is already in our ordinances right now. So, no. So if the council wishes to take this to the attorney and then let them do their magical law, whatever it is, and then we'll ask you to come in and edit what they say. How about that? I mean,
Lawyers are great for not knowing what public works allows.
okay, let me reverse that. Let me reverse that.
So,
How about if you look over and then pick and choose, pick and edit, and then we'll go back.
for anything roadside safety and what is my bailiwick and expertise, I would be more than willing to come look at it and try to help explain where the rules came from and everything else. But all I see is problems enforcing it, and when legal push comes to shove, in the site triangle stuff, especially because you allow on-street parking almost everywhere within this town, it all but eliminates your ability to truly legally be able to defend yourself in enforcing the ordinance you have on the books for decades, probably.
Okay, so council, with that being said, what do you want to
I don't
discuss?
think we should, send it to the lawyer. We need to see what he can, come in and go over it. Explain it better before we spend the money on the lawyer.
Okay, so,
No. Make a motion not to no on this one.
One second.
okay, so, the motion though, is to allow Mr. Moorhead to look further.
Oh, yes, yeah, add that to the motion too.
Okay, motion's been, made and seconded to allow Mr. Moorhead to, look at what we have and then edit and then bring it back, to the council. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So, Mr. Moorhead. Thank you. Expertise. All right, thank you. The item D, unfinished business, is Public Works employment. More discussion. According to the minutes, there was nothing made last time.
I'm still against.
Oh, talking about the, applicant over there.
No, I'm talking about Public Works employment. We've had 3, sometimes 4 employees. Not very often 2, but sometimes 2. Reason to have another person for in Public Works would be to have the capability to get some of the lower priority jobs done, completed. Have an extra set of hands, like I expressed before, available on projects that are kind of dangerous. Right now with 2, if one person is sick, then that other one person that is on duty has the quote unquote whole town process to take care of that day or that week or whatever time period. With that being said, today, 3rd Street had a water main line leak. Cagney is home with a family medical issue. Stephen and Joe worked all day to do that water leak, fix that water leak. So, I'm just asking discussion for the employment of maybe another person.
It seems to be the problem we're running into is we can't find anyone that wants to work.
Problem being, you're gonna need someone, like you said last week, somebody said something about spotlight. Right? You can't spotlight. You need somebody with the experience to be a spot and do the other stuff. You're not having anyone. Yeah, you know, you can't, somebody who's not trained in the first place can't train anybody else. You're gonna have to work there first before they begin to train somebody else. So that'd be the blind leading the blind, I guess. Yes, we need someone who is experienced.
But we can't even get anyone, period.
Well, no, you had a applicant. See, the last application or advertisement, you did have one person.
Yeah, I heard he was never.
How do you know? You weren't there.
I'm the same, that's what I heard. If they all voted no, I can't vote yes.
Okay. So further discussion, Laura kind of is at a disadvantage there, because she wasn't at that meeting. Not the person, the position, okay? Not the person,
Well,
position.
perhaps, you know, advertising somebody else, but we need somebody with experience.
And with that being said, what are you going to do if you have that applicant and there is no experience, but they do have a willingness to learn, a willingness to work, a willingness to, you know, the same old speech.
See, the trouble with that is, no matter how willing you are, if you're not trained, if you're not taught how to do your job, you're not going to get it done. And I'm sorry, Steve, and definitely Cagney do not have experience.
Getting better.
Getting better, I don't think they're experienced enough to train somebody else. And that's my
Thoughts, maybe if we hired on a new employee, we could see if Brits will train them for us. They seem to have a pretty good team. Is that a thing we could do?
No.
Well, it's the same.
That's not
it's the
gonna
same
work,
sort
because the
of
town's not
things.
gonna pay Ritzville to train our employees. Ritzville's not gonna be like, here, we'll train them all up and then
No,
take
I
them back.
mean, we train postal employees for different towns. I don't see why we couldn't.
I don't know, maybe it's a possibility.
Just a thought. You guys don't
Good
want
idea,
to hire anyone.
Good idea.
Way to go, Lauren, good idea.
Hang in there, girl.
You got all,
I don't know.
you guys got all these plans for the town, but you don't want to hire anyone. I got nothing.
The only thing I can, with where we're at right now, we're gonna have to at least run an ad, the way I see it.
There must be someone out there in our school.
We might get lucky and have somebody decent apply, I don't know, or more than one person. With the chance we take. So we can run it for a couple more weeks and see if we can get somebody to apply for college. I'll make a motion that we run it for a couple more weeks.
I was thinking that.
See what we can get to apply.
How about we just run it until we get someone to keep it advertised?
The chaps out the window.
Whatever Laura says, just go with it.
The motion has been made and seconded to run employment advertisement. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
And any opposed? that will be as soon as possible.
Does the ad say anything about being municipally employed in the past or similar skills?
You'll just have to read, it's never changed.
It says, but I can't remember it word for word, but it says quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
I remember it, like work experience and stuff like that.
I'm not looking for jobs.
Don't be something there, don't be serious.
Okay, next on the item list here. Resolution 2309, salaries for the formal approval. You've already approved this. This is just the resolution that actually states what you said. Mainly, what is it? Noted and be retroactive starting September 1 of 2023. So,
I make the motion to accept resolution 2309. That's salaries of our appointed officials.
second? It's already been approved. This is just the final paperwork.
I have a second. No one else is gonna do it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution 2309. All in favor, say aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. All right, under new business, the request for variance, the fence at 110 West Fifth. Any more discussion?
No, I make the motion be approved.
Second.
Third.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to grant the request for fence variance at 110 West Fifth Street. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Council, you have a building permit for 203 West Main. What is it? It's a re-roofing. Oh, for a garage, sorry. I didn't read the rest of it. So approval of that permit.
I make a motion that we accept this permit to re-roof garage on Main Street.
Oh. I knew that.
Okay, now that you know where it is there a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moved and seconded to approve the re-roofing on the garage at 203 West Main Street. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item C, well 6, ordinance 2305. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Mr. Wold. It says, an ordinance amending the portion of the language of ordinance 2107, which pertains to service rates of water withdrawn from hydrants and standpipes, and the amending of a portion of section 1 of ordinance 1901, which pertains to section 1.1.2, table B of ordinance 1503, as it pertains to monthly water allowance and service rates.
Okay, this is to amend the ordinance, and as we've talked in the past, it's just been talked about for quite a while. We just, as council, haven't really pursued it at all. And the charging of our potable and non-potable, correct, both? 6. As far as raising the prices for that, basically. So right now, the current price is $10 for the first, do I have to say cubic feet or can I just say gallon? $10 for the first 1,000 gallons and $1 for the 100 gallons. Thereafter is the current price that it's been, which is, if anybody's done any research around any of our community towns around here, we aren't even a drop in the bucket compared to what they charge currently. So the first numbers that were thrown into play on this, I would like to change those, was $75 for the first 1,000 gallons and $3 after that. But I think as the council, we could probably all agree that it's going to be a big jump regardless of who's looking at it, but that might be getting a little crazy with our first time raising this, and I couldn't tell you how many years it's been. But I was going to propose that we drop it from the 75 to the 50 and from the $3 to the $2. And that's what this is, ordinance amendment would be.
We'll go to section 2.
Oh, sorry. All other, section 2, all other provisions of ordinance 0304, ordinance 1503, ordinance 1901, and ordinance 2107 shall remain in full force and effect, and this amended price would not go into effect until January 1st of 2024. And shall be in full force and effect from that date and after its passage in publication as required by law. So if this does pass, or the price gets changed or whatever, but there is going to be a price rate. Everybody knows that's coming. But it will not go into effect until January 1st, regardless of what it is,
Yeah,
of 2024.
why did you decide to push it off that far?
We're closer to the end of the year already, and the thought was to start at the beginning of next year, I guess.
Would this affect the railroad?
As
You know,
far as what,
they fill their tankers up somewhere out there, but that's not at what 6.
well, it should, if they're taking water from the town, from a hydrant or anywhere else, it's supposed to, yes. As far as how that is kept track of, I technically can't tell you, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know how to keep track of that, or if we. But yes, they should be paying for water just like anybody else that gets water from us, no matter where it is.
Paula, can you explain the railroad?
The railroad has their own backflow and meter. So if and when they get it from a hydrant, then it's reported it's metered. If they get it at well 6, then it's the tank, just like anybody else.
But they don't leave it at 6. They don't leave the railroad track, do they? These are the train cars that are filling it.
Oh, no, there's not any big train cars filling up. I don't know where that story came from.
People said that they've seen them on the weekends.
Filling up the railroad tracks, no.
How do they get the water in the train cars?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do take quite a bit of water, and we should make sure that this is all encompassing all of those large water users that are pouring it on the ground and taking it out of our tank.
Right, and it's, everybody, like I said, is supposed to be paying for the water they take. How
But if
that's
it's just
monitored, I
leaving.
can't sit here and tell you if the railroad's turning it all in, or
Yes.
whoever is.
And so is the county.
It's always been, right, it's always been an honor system type thing.
So is it-
Eventually, in my opinion, we should get some kind of metering system out here of
the size of the hose or the fitting. But your
They have to
ordinance
fit
is
it to the-
specific to well 6, it looks like. Or
No,
it sounds
Well,
like.
it says,
We don't have anything to look at, so.
it does say, from, which pertains to service rates of water withdrawn from hydrants and standpipes. And many of those, yeah. So that covers hydrants and standpipes, well, so wherever.
and well said.
No, I had to double read that too. I knew you said that.
Just so that you know, we do have a few people who have no wells at their house. They are land residents. They do get the potable, I didn't think, the potable tank fulls or truck loads, whatever. And they have been told that the prices may be raised. And they said that, well, that's unfortunate because they can't afford, right now it's the $10, and that was done in 2021. And before that, in 2019, it was $9.50 for the first 1,000. But anyway, their drinking water, their well water, is going to have to be searched out someplace else. So that is told to you through word of mouth. He's pretty regular about what? Every month? Every other month, he comes and fills up his.
Well, I understand that, but, you know, I mean, that's cheaper than what I pay for a water bill here in town, so. I'm not trying to sound like a bad guy, but I mean, if we don't start somewhere, we're never gonna get anywhere. We're just gonna keep giving it away as we already are, and we have been forever, so.
I agree with Mike on that.
Okay. Have you ever figured out exactly what it is per gallon?
So what? So $50?
That you are paying?
I would have to see what because it varies every month on how much water is used.
No, just take 1,200 cubic feet. That's your base rate.
Okay, so that's.
I'm just trying to throw out a math problem.
Right. I get what you're
Is it-
trying to do.
is
I
it
still
comp-
stand by what I say.
Okay. Is it comparable to what you're asking for well 6 is what I'm asking?
Well, I mean, we can keep giving it away to everybody too, Paul, and I get why you're going there. You use it too.
You're missing the point. I'm not for or against. I'm just trying to let you know that, number one, you have people that is their drinking water that they are getting.
It's not, I'm not, this isn't all, it's not me against
No,
everybody in
I know.
town, and like Mike Wolf's the only one that thinks we should charge more for what we're charging for water.
No.
Because that's not.
It was raised in 19, it was raised in 21.
Right, and look what you're paying compared to the towns.
You know what, if I wanted a beer and I couldn't afford one, I'd have to go with that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. We all have priorities in what we
I agree with Mike, I think that's got to go up, you know.
I'm gonna see.
The townspeople are paying enough for it, and then we're gonna have, it's gonna be raised so anyway, and it's $6. What is it? The townspeople,
Okay, I can, and just for example, I'm not, I did check around, I checked with Ritzville, Washtucken, and Kahlotus, 3 towns around here on their pricing of what they charge for their bulk water. Ritzville is $75 for the first 1,000 gallons, and then $20 for 1,000 gallons after that. Washtucken is $50 for the first 1,000 gallons and 12,000 for, sorry, not 12,000. Whoa! You thought this was bad. and $12 for 1,000 gallons after that. And then Kahlotus is, that's a pretty big number. Kahlotus is 90,
Okay.
but there's $90 for the first 10,000 gallons. And then it's $2.50 for every 100 gallons after that. It's Kahlotus prices. When I did some research on that, just for example, so we're not going above and beyond what anybody else is around us, I think, at the $50 and the $2, and we're
I
not
think that's good.
cutting ourselves too short either. That's just from the research that has been done.
Okay, and that's good. Yeah, you always have to research. Question?
So, good evening. I actually received a letter in the mail about a week ago on this very issue. I got thinking about it, but we rarely ever did. But you were talking about the current rate, you asked what it is per gallon. Is the current base is 66.4, or 12.62, right? Is that correct? 66. Yeah. So, 12 cubic feet, we put in about 7.4 gallons. We put it comes out to be about 8,976 gallons. So if you do the math there, about per gallon rate is 0.007. That's like 3/4 of a cent, if I round it up, or current rate there. What you were suggesting on the letter was 75 the first time,
That was what was written out in the beginning.
and then $3 after that for the regular monthly, correct? And then you were going to change it to 50.
Yeah, and two.
And then two. So if I figure out 50, for about, that should be 5 cents a gallon. So just right there, 500% over the current hot water that you're getting. Just information going out there. But if you wouldn't mind, could you describe the difference between potable and non-potable? Just for the 489 for sure, the difference.
The easiest way for me to describe it is the potable is your drinking water, and the non-potable is your non-drinking water.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is that you are valuing the non-potable more than the potable.
I guess if that's the way you're looking at it.
Well, that's your prices that you're listing here, 5 cents versus 1 cent. And that's just the very base. I just kind of don't understand the whole meaning of this ordinance when you say that you want to conserve the water, and yet, then on the other hand, you're actually incentivizing larger tanks to fill up by operating cheaper rates. Again, with the $75 rate you initially proposed, you got about 7.5 cents a gallon. And for a 10,000 gallon tank, if you want to figure it out, it's about $345 for that load. Works out to be about 3.5 cents a gallon. I'm confused as to why it's more safe water. You're actually incentivizing larger tanks to fill up by offering a cheaper rate. If it was me looking at that, I would say, well, shoot, I can fill up a larger tank cheaper.
I get what you're saying. I guess I didn't think about that
Oh,
part, but, so is everybody just gonna hook up to a 10,000 gallon tank and come to live and get
I'm
one?
not saying what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. I'm just confused as to what kind of message is being thrown out.
The whole point of this is to try to get some more money back for the town and stuff on the water that we've been just giving away forever, you know what I mean?
Okay, so it's more about the money situation than not.
Well, to try and get back to the town as far as,
Yeah, I have no problem actually putting money for the town. I know why I was building up here in the first place. We actually farm out of Kahlotus. So we occasionally fill up any future project would be evaluated. Specifically, what are we conserving on drinking water over the
I think it's more of the fact that all the water comes from the same aquifer, and apparently the aquifer is getting low. So, I mean, it's still the same water, potable and non-potable. It's still coming from the same place.
All right, so you're saying that it comes from the same aquifer, and you have to have a non-drinkable source and drinkable source? Why is there?
Well, I can only assume the drinkable has some kind of filtration system, and that's why it's the drinkable.
So what you're explaining is that our non-drinkable water is in with the drinkable water?
I don't know exactly how it works.
It's different. It's its own.
It's used a lot of times for flushing the sewers and stuff like that when we had plenty of water. And can I ask you a question? Why do you come from clubs to get water in?
Well, like I explained earlier, I live here. Second of all, I would like for my money over to go. I feel like that helps out. Third of all, easiest answer is me. There's no real difference for me using that for I can come home and take my that. Obviously, I can take the money elsewhere. I don't see.
Yeah, not especially since we're the cheapest around.
Well,
You know, I mean, we are the cheapest around. Even with this raise, we're still cheaper than a lot of other towns.
okay,
You know, so
that's fine. I was just curious as to if it was about the money or if it was about water.
Oh, you have a role.
Yeah.
It's to discourage people from coming from so far away to take so much of our water out here to throw down on our road or to mix with chemicals to spray.
Correct.
And that, we would rather the people who have other wells just outside of town are affected by the use of our wells in town, especially like these shorter ones like well 6. So the people would like to take care of our water system until we can find another water avenue is in a new well. That's what we're told.
We're down a well here.
We're only pushing on one well right now, besides the non-potable.
Well, 7, not 8.
Yeah, but one of those has been turned off since October.
Well, 6 is the non.
There's two of them, there's potable and non-potable.
Yeah.
And the potable side of that is what the reservoirs and
Correct.
So,
And we're trying to preserve the water for firefighters.
Yeah.
Because we've had fires,
we've had several
firefighters needed.
firefighting is the main use of the water. Non-potable is you're probably not drinking. Are there any plans in the future to use the non-potable source as a drinkable source?
I think that'd be a great idea if we could
You know,
figure out somehow to get that put in place or what it would cost to try to do that or any of that.
Haven't you asked your mom?
no, I haven't.
I mean,
I would.
she knows what's going on.
Well, hey, can you be so sure of that?
But
Can you be so sure of that? Yeah, I'm just curious.
people have been asked to not water, or to water very little. They've been put on rations, kind of a deal. And they're wondering when they see these big trucks leaving town with all the water.
So I see this common thing where we kind of confuse what the line is between drinkable and non-drinkable. That seems to happen a lot. And because the fill is the same place, then I assume that is why that happens a lot. Me personally, I don't think we use the drinkable water. That is why I'm actually doing that at the non-drinkable. Because it makes more sense. It's not being used. Being used occasionally.
Well, like Laura said, that it's all in the same general aquifer and everything drains out.
Is it?
Yeah, actually, this well 6 is in the same as.
So that means that your drinking water is coming out.
No, it's a different portion, but
Two
it's still the
separate
same
pumps in
aquifer.
there with two separate meters. One of them was non-potable, one of them was potable.
This
A lot
one-
of the non-potable water is usually sprayed by farmers.
This one's been poisoned, and it has a lot of iron, I believe, in it.
So what you're saying is it's been poisoned, that means it's drinking
No,
water.
at
It's the
that,
same, it
no,
doesn't-
at that location right there, that well, because people filled up from it forever and stuff, there's been a lot of chemicals spilled. Plus, there's, I believe it's iron, a super high amount of iron. I might be wrong on that.
That's the reason that it's not.
Yes.
And you have documentation for that.
As far as Joe, who's worked for the town forever, he's the water guy, so if you want to talk to him, he can probably tell you exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your concern is that they're proposing to raise the rates on the non-potable water as well?
I think it's a great idea. My concern is that when you raise the rate of non-potable water 500% over drinking water, what is the other route that drop? Go ahead, rate. I mean, if non-drinkable water is worth 5 cents a gallon, when is the drinkable water going to be worth 10 cents? It's not that far off. Because it's worth more than the non-drinkable water.
So the whole issue of people coming to our town and depleting our water source through, a lot of the farmers don't use the non-potable. They use the regular water. And there are a lot of farms that lost their wells, and they come to town and use that also. I'm not sure that they do. I've seen them filling up there a lot.
There's one person, there's another person that is using the potable for their drinking. 2 people. The rest of the people that take water at that location is the non-potable.
That's what I see. I actually get to those people. I would like to present, and then you have the wealthy. I would like to present that. I don't have to. I would like to get this new permit. I'll the town plan, and I could actually finish my report. I would like to present, move back on that. Maybe the next week. I don't know. I think it would be interesting. The actual uses, or this is uses, between potable sources and non-potable sources. If the council will be interested, we want to have.
I'm with Mike, and I think we should go ahead with what I say.
Okay, but he's asking me a question. Would the council care to see a report? I didn't hear what you said.
It's basically this usage of.
Oh, usage of the potable versus non-potable.
No, not really, no, I mean, this is the one person.
No.
No,
And you say you live in there?
I did.
I want to see it. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. It's not for one person. He's saying for his whole report.
I just think it would be interesting because there's a lot of these open-ended, well, there's so much water and it's like, can we quantify how much water is from what source?
You know, what you're saying, you know, at the moment, that's all a sticky situation. The town, very short water at the moment, we're in trouble with the water supply. We've had to pay more for our water. Yeah, and the potable water, mostly, I mean, a lot of farmers use that spray when they come in, you know, they'll fill up the tank, they'll pop that shit. You give the other back, and you never go along for it.
No, he did not. That was the county truck and they, the, back end sprayers, whatever they're called,
Right?
didn't close
Oh, so they.
and then he took off. There was no leakage out of that hose.
But yeah, that's used for cleaning and stuff like that.
Yeah, he came down Second Street, washed the Second Street.
That was when they phoned you up, Mark?
Yes,
Oh, that's what it was. That was a citizen who told me, so.
well, the citizen wasn't there, were they? Okay.
I can't see any sense, I mean, what do you, I mean, at the end of the day, that needs to be raised. I wouldn't mind.
Okay, but we've got a few months. Do you have
I'm
a,
fine if he wants to bring in a report and do one at the next meeting, but,
okay,
I mean, it's the raise is gonna happen regardless.
yeah, well, did
It'd
you
be
hear what he
interesting to
said?
hear.
I'm actually not opposed.
City starts on January 1st.
Yeah, this
And
is-
we're having a report.
Yeah, it's not gonna go to,
But did you hear what he said, though?
I'm actually not opposed to any sort of white tag or any of that nature. I'm just trying to follow a lot of things. I'm actually more interested about in how this is turning because I'm not following. Like I said, I start betting and it's not good,
right, I can see that.
but,
Honestly, when you go to other communities and stuff, which obviously you do and stuff, but when you talk to people and subjects like this come up and stuff, and you hear what, like, oh, well, what did you guys charging or whatever, it's crazy to see their reaction when they're like, holy, you know, or whatever. Not saying we have to be like every other town around, but we're just giving the stuff away.
okay.
You know, and this town obviously has money issues when it comes to well issues and stuff too, so. To me, I think it'd be a good idea to get more back from the water usage at least than what we're getting now. But I don't speak for everybody, I mean, this is a council decision, obviously.
Right. I'm just trying to follow. So what you're proposing is to get most of the revenue out of approximately 8% of the water town, or water.
However you want to put it, man. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you all night long.
No, there's no argument.
There's no argument, I just, if I could present the fact, then I'm pretty sure I could illustrate the fact that you're not gonna, I mean, what would you project is going to happen if you raise that amount? You're expecting to have more revenue or less?
Well, the town's gonna get more money off all the water that goes out, obviously.
Unless they stop filling up.
But if they stop filling
Well, then
up, that's
that's their
good,
choice.
because we need the water.
It's kind of a double-bladed sword, I guess,
It's a
the way I
win-win.
look at it, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's where I'm at. I'm not trying to say, don't raise it.
Is it double what they go on there, like?
Okay,
Well,
well,
it's not my deal.
You know,
So-
you never see a farmer on a pipe, they don't know what that.
so what this right here, and you're proposing 50 for the first 1,000 and 2 for the next, per 100. Okay, so if Shawn wants to bring in his information for you to evaluate it, because you've already given the January 1st of next year timeline.
I don't think we should wait till January. Did we get 3 months notice of that? No, I'm just saying.
And that's kind of
That's
where
the
I'm at.
point too.
So,
Well, the thing is, if we wait till January, then it is a beginning of your new budget. Right now, with this price has not been budgeted for the current 23 budget. So that's kind of where the January.
That doesn't affect anything, that just means you have more income.
Right, but then you gotta justify it. So is that a, okay thing? To have a clean sheet with your proposal again on this?
Yeah, that's fine, but it'll get settled at the next meeting, that's fine.
Okay, so, no, okay, so that right there, you can do a public records request for the stuff. But this right here, so, and it's not Mike's, Mike is just presenting it. but, that'll, come
I
back.
feel like everybody hates it.
That's all right.
No.
Right, right.
You got broad shoulders.
Join the club, Mike, join the club. All right, so, item D, thank you. Item D, I would like to move forward with council's, I guess, opinion. You know what it is? Do you have it, Mike? I gave this to you a long time ago. So here,
No, I do not have a copy.
There's two copies there, so one for you, one for me. Lori, did you do one as well? Okay, do you want to pass it in?
okay, this letter is a product of, an eyesore to the whole town. And those are my words. It violates your ordinance 1101 all over the place. It is a situation where the property owner has changed hands. So now we have to deal with the current property owner, not the previous one who was like a landlord-tenant situation. Got it? Okay. But anyway, it's to congratulate the person as being property owner now. And then it's also now being the proud and sole owner of the property, you have some obligations and responsibilities to yourself, to others, and to the town. And it was suggested to me to present this letter to the citizen, the property owner, so that it is blank, step by step by step by step process, so that there would be no misunderstanding of their responsibility of cleaning up the area, their responsibility of providing safe, the word just dismissed. Safe housing, thank you. Safe housing for the person. The back sheet is not part of the letter. Okay, short and sweet. This property's determined to be unsafe and dangerous. No one should be in or on the property as of whatever date, and that's what I'm asking the council to make a decision on, possibly. All cost of the below listed will be property owner's expense. That's you, not you, council, you, the property owner. Maybe give the option that the house structure needs to be demolished, or house structure needs to be professionally rebuilt and inspected, because that would have to be done, so it is safe and livable. Okay, so you've got two options. With your guidance, I will give two options for this property owner. Obviously, clean up the property, throw away all trash, scrap, debris, whatever you want to say. Then also, I wanted to let that property owner know that utilities require deposits and inspections, because right now there's no electricity. Excuse me, there's no water, there's no sewer. Those have to be inspected, rewired, whatever, inspected before the switch is even going to go on. I do not know if gas is part of that house. I don't think so because it would have blown up. Unfortunately. But anyway, water would need to be $500. Sewer would need to be $500 for the utilities to be turned back on and inspected and all that stuff. But the process is like we're trying to do with the resolutions, to kind of get it so that we can do and clean up, maybe put him in a livable home. There's lots of things that has been expressed to me when I've talked with him that he sees nothing wrong with the way that it is. He sees nothing wrong with having the structure be not sound enough for him. Anyway, and I've kind of expressed a little bit that the weather is beginning to cool down a little bit. I believe that the cleanup could be started. I originally started this letter when it was 100 degrees. So that's how long that the agencies and myself have worked together on this. Anyway, on the back piece of paper, it's got, I'm going to ask that it to be signed by the property owner, and I'm going to ask for 2 witnesses that will help the person understand what he's going with. But as a note, this is from me to you. Who, how, when will the town clean this mess up? Okay, this person, we know, will probably not clean up to our standards. Okay, so then what? What will be our plan B? Who do we get to clean and demolish or clean and rebuild? Whatever. Right now, I see this as a necessary thing months ago, but it's also an idle threat because we don't have any follow through. So I'm asking for some discussion. This is where I'm at. Yeah, it is lengthy, but I had to do the steps.
Well, for a start, you know he's not going to clean up. He's not capable. He's not interested.
How much asbestos is in there too?
I mean, a lot of that burn metal stuff is very hazardous.
Yeah, that's what the police department and the fire department all said, that was all asbestos on the house and the trailers that are in the lot.
That's the metal that burns too. It absorbs into certain parts of your skin, poison your body. We know it's not clean up. In fact, I think he's still at that.
There are people living there.
Yeah, I thought someone out of that. I mean, basically.
He's living on the back porch.
We will not have any heat.
Right, in the winter it's coming up, no heat.
It's not going to be able to stay there.
I mean, that's the game. That's the game now.
Condemned, this is the step back a few meetings. If it's condemned, then the town agrees to buy it for market value.
Burns down a little house at market value.
I think that's got enough issues with not need that house.
Oh, that is.
Wow.
And I told you that before. That's what was told to me. If it's condemned, then the town is agreeing.
Wow.
So that's if the town condemns, it can the fire department?
They should have done it when they had the chance, but they didn't do it.
But the market value of it right now is
50 cents. I mean, what about all the bio and all the,
That's the next thing. See, that's the thing. Cleanup means, all right, you got all that, those cars, the oil, that crap they drug in. That would be my next thing of environmentally safe. No, it's not. There have been people there, go and inspect. They actually trek right on through there and they have their reports. This is kind of a result of some of their reports. But like I said, what is our plan? Because what you said, it ain't gonna clean up. But if I'm gonna throw this out at you, and you thumb your nose at me, what can I do to enforce? You should have done it years ago.
I know,
So anyway, this right here is back burner. I don't know how many times, like I said, when there was 100 degrees weather, well then that's.
we're very limited to what we can do.
What do you want to do, I guess, is what I'm asking.
That should be not done.
Be fine department practice.
They can't do that anymore.
Trust me, I thought I should have burned about 2 or 3 fires.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been in such a hurry.
Yeah. Okay. We can't.
Just wait it out until the end of the fire.
That was my question. Are they aware that if there is another fire while you're working on that, that they do need to, like, will they aim it this time?
Fire department knows what I was informed
Okay,
with, and they have been told.
okay. So by
Everything
chance,
is done legally.
they
Would
would,
they be stuck with buying the house if they condemned it or said it was unlivable?
That was not part of the conversation.
I'm just wondering why they didn't.
I'll be pushing that off on the fire department.
They didn't know.
What about the health department?
The health department has been there. The health department does not have.
And adult.
That was kind of a joke.
Right to live anywhere they want. There's kids in there, everything gone, but an adult can live anywhere they want. That's from.
Yeah.
Many health department people say.
In other words, they gave paid to fix the wall.
Well, okay, but look at it from this point of view. And I'm just gonna say myself, I am asking someone else to conform to my ideas of what's livable.
Last time. Pull it down, I'll pull it down, I'll pull it down and I won't pick up.
I don't threat. No,
I'll do it.
I don't threat. But you were worried about policing or telling me what I can't do or can do. I'm asking you, what does the council want me to do beyond what this is? I'm waiting for your thoughts. Council's thoughts, not just you.
Yeah, put on that burner left tonight.
He will use a gas propane heater. He will do it.
Yeah, well, we go back there for another fire.
We do other avenues we can explore, you know.
I think that they've already been exhausted. That part, no. That part, no.
That's, we know it's big farms for that.
Yeah.
Apparently, our hands are
Ecology probably take a phone call from you guys. I got the phone numbers, I'll give them to you.
It seems like our
We already
hands,
got them.
our hands are kind of, I mean, all we can do is keep sticking Henry out after, at this point, is what I understand. Our hands are kind of tied.
They are tied, but they aren't tied. If there's a strong support and push with this, I think that it can be one step closer. Do you have any heartburn over how I've said things? I've tried.
Well, give them 2 weeks to start cleaning it up or whatever.
Myra,
And if we don't see anything,
I think you should send it. Go from there.
just send it, I like it.
well, what my plan is, like I said, he's gonna get a letter, and then I'm gonna have a witness, and then another witness for that process, so that, you know, do you understand? Yeah. And then you
Do
know
we
that.
know if he has any family?
Yeah,
Live down
Live down the road.
Yeah, Tweet's Paradise.
The other,
Who's that?
Kenneth. Debbie Meyer's house,
Oh.
Dennis Meyer's house, the next one over.
Oh, that one.
There's family in Warden, I believe.
And he's on a list for a house in Word.
Well, let's go get him one.
Okay, so,
Send it. Myra said send it.
I don't think that I need a motion for that. I'll just. Okay, short and sweet, mayor's report. We had 2 lightning strikes. I don't know if anybody knew it, but we had 2 lightning strikes that occurred August 29th. They have made it a monitoring nightmare, and I will say it loudly. After we discovered that the communication between well 8 and reservoir 3 were fried. Okay? The phones were dead, if you remember that day, throughout the day. And while people continued to use water, alarms were going up. Excuse me! This is important.
Don't yell at me!
I will.
No, you won't!
Yes, I will.
You're one of the rudest people I've ever met.
Bye. The phones were dead throughout the day while people continued using water. Alarms were going off, but they weren't being received. Catch my drift? Okay, at 8:30 that night, phone service was restored and the alarms came in through. One right after that. Reservoir 2 was drained down to about 1.5 feet. Low-level alarms go off at about 6.3 feet. So without knowing, we were in trouble. But luckily, it was nighttime and Stephen monitored the situation so that well 8 wouldn't overfill the reservoirs because we had to do the transducers and the probes were fried and we had to run it all manually. Okay. And I so appreciate the school and the cemetery for not watering over Labor Day weekend while we waited for the new controls, because you always gotta wait, to be delivered. The water supply held steady for all the citizens. So that was good. This past Thursday, I don't have a calendar, so I don't know. The underground communication cable that runs approximately 1 mile between Reservoir 3 and Well 8 is suspected to be melted in several places because of the lightning strikes. The repairs are being covered by our insurance policy. Okay, so that right there is